All right, this is our geometry. Let's see, this would be a review for quarterfinal lessons 1 through 20. We'll call it part 1. We'll see how much of it we get through. Okay, make sure that we've got some sound turned up here. All right, question number 1. Question number 1 is going to give you an equation. It's going to be in standard form, and it's going to ask you to put it into slope-intercept form, and then identify what is the slope, what is the y-intercept. So it might give you something like 6x minus 3y equals 12. We want that in slope-intercept form. We then want to identify what is the slope, what is the y-intercept. And I know that may seem like a really, really easy question to some of you. Some people still can't identify the slope and y-intercept. What is the y-intercept form of an equation? What am I trying to get this into? All right, so we want this to be in y equals mx plus b format, okay? So in this equation right here, what are we solving for? Y, okay? So that's what I want to do up here, okay? So we follow all the same principles of solving for a variable, which is first I have to do what? Isolate the variable, right? I got to get it by itself. So do I need to move y to the right-hand side of the equation at all? No, I need to move everything else. So what's the first thing that has to move over there? 6x. How do I move it over there? Subtract 6x from each side. All right, so I have negative 3y left. Negative 3y equals what? Negative 6x plus 12. I think I heard somebody say 12 minus 6x, but remember, we want it to be in this order, right? Okay, so I want my coefficient with the x value to be listed first. What's the next thing that needs to happen here? Divide by negative 3 on each side. Now, I did that. I divided the entire right-hand side by negative 3. You need to know that you're also going to divide everything by negative 3, which is going to leave you with y equals what? Negative 6 divided by negative 3? 2x, right? All right, 12 divided by negative 3? Negative 4, right? Now, what is the slope? 2. It's not 2x. Okay, the slope is 2. We do not include the x. Okay? Do not include x. Okay? Don't include it. X is not the slope. It's not part of the slope. Are we clear? All right? Y-intercept. Negative 4. Very good. All right, slope is 2. So we have actually 3 parts to this question. Okay? We've got this part right here and those 2 parts right there. Okay, so it's not a one-part thing. Are we clear? We got that? Great. Let me see what we got over here. All right, so this question is going to give you a statement, and it's going to want you to write the converse of the statement. Okay, so it's going to give you statement in a conditional form, and you need to write the converse. Let me see. Trying to think of something that's not part of the test. Start off with what word should it start with? If. Okay. Give me an animal, any animal. A dog? Okay, give me a specific kind of dog. No, no specific kinds of dogs. A corgi. Okay, let's see. If a dog is a corgi, I'm not sure how to spell it, but I'm going to spell it this way. It's probably not right. G-I, okay, C-O-R-G-I, I'm being told. Okay, what is specific to corgis? Then it has tiny legs, okay? All right, so that's our conditional statement. If a dog is a corgi, then it has tiny legs. We want the converse of that statement. We've just spent some time talking about converses. So what's our converse of that statement? If what? No, if a dog, right? If a dog what? Has tiny legs, then what? Then it is a corgi. Now, that statement doesn't necessarily have to be true. We're just trying to write the converse statement, okay? Does that make sense? All right, good. Get that out of here. All right, next up. This one wants the inverse. Inverse. Okay. Let's see. Let's talk about things a little bit more of a mathematical sense. Somebody give me a shape. Something else. Okay. We can say that, if a figure is a circle, what do we know about circles? Then it has a circumference of, what would we say, 2 pi r? That work? Okay, good. So we want the inverse of that statement. Inverse. If a figure is not a circle, then right. If then it doesn't have a, I'm going to say just C of 2 pi r. Okay? That's our inverse statement. All right. I told you that this whole inverse, converse, contrapositive thing was going to be a big deal. Okay? In fact, it continues on into question number 4. So one deals with converse, the next one deals with inverse, the final one deals with all 3. Okay? Let's see. So we want, in order though, we're going to want inverse, or hold on, converse, inverse, contrapositive. Okay, we're going to start with a conditional statement. If, let's get another animal. What kind of animal do you want? I feel like we're just like looking at the screen over here at this point. Give me something besides a bird. Not a dog, not a bird. Okay? If an animal is a bear, do you know about bears? Then it hibernates in the winter. Or we'll just say then it hibernates. It's not the only thing that hibernates, but okay, we know that bears hibernate. Okay, converse. Okay, if an animal hibernates, then it is a bear. Good. Okay. Inverse. You're jumping too quickly. You're saying if an animal doesn't hibernate, then it is not a bear. We have to go back to what? You're jumping from the converse statement to try to make the inverse statement from the converse. That's a contrapositive. We just want the inverse. Right. If an animal is not a bear, okay, we have to go back to our order of our conditional statement. Then it does not hibernate. Okay. Finally, we want our contrapositive. Okay. And this is where you are going with it, Tiffany. Okay. If an animal doesn't hibernate, then it isn't a bear. Okay, again, these statements don't have to be true. We're just taking a conditional statement and rearranging it based upon what they're asking us to do. Does that make sense? Okay. Converse, inverse, contrapositive, again, which is why I think that you ought to write these things down that I put up on the board earlier. Okay, what are we at? Number 5? See if we move out of this at all. Okay. All right. I'm just kind of making some numbers up here, so we'll see if this works. Okay. Find the angle measures of the scalene triangle. All right, so there's one big hint here, and that is my answer is not simply the solution for x. Okay? So I'm going to put up here, x is not the final solution, because there's nothing more frustrating for you or me than doing all kinds of really good work and not getting the right answer because we stopped too early. Okay, what do I need to do here? Jordan? Can anybody tell me what you know about the angle measures of a triangle? They add up to 180. They add up. What adds up to 180? All the angles. They add up to 180. Okay, so we're just taking what we know. What can I do with what we know? 180 minus 65. Okay, you could do it that way. 180 minus 65. What is 180 minus 65? Go ahead.
Can you add the 180 or 65 make it 25?
You okay? So somebody else is saying take 65 plus 25. Okay. What does scalene mean, Tiffany? Okay. If it had said that it was equiangular, could you have done something with that? Yeah, but it's scalene, which means all my angles are going to be different angle measures. All right, so I see a couple different things taking place. Somebody says 180 minus 65. Somebody says 65 plus 25. Both of those, there's nothing wrong with either one of those. In fact, I would do it differently still, and I would say, you know, if it was, well, I want to hear what you guys, I want to see what you continue to do. Cassie, what's 180 minus 65? 115. So you got 115. Okay? So what does the 115 tell you? That the angle what? No, not that another angle has to be 115. It tells you that the remaining two angles have to total to be 115, right? So you could say then that 115, okay, equals x plus 25 plus x, right? Right? And you could say that 115, you could combine like terms and say that 2x plus 25, right? And then what could you do to solve for x? Subtract 25 from 115 and get what? What is it, 90? Okay, you're getting 90 equals 2x. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. X equals what? 45 degrees. Okay? And 45 degrees would probably show up as an option. But would that be enough? No. I would say that this is 45 degrees. And this is 45 degrees plus 25, which is what? Let me hit pause here. Okay, so we're going to say that this other angle is what? What's 45 plus 25? 70. Okay, so we're going to get 70 and 45 are our answers. Okay, now let's see if this other method would have worked. All right, somebody said, was it Derek? Did you say 65 plus 25? What does that equal? 90. Okay. That tell me? That tells me that 65 and 25 are already done with. Okay, how do we use that? All right, so you're saying after that, because 90 degrees are already spoken for, 180 minus 90, because there's 90 degrees in the whole thing, right? So that's going to tell you that there are, what, 90 degrees left? Okay, so we got 90 degrees left, and 65 and 25 are 90 of those. So what? Divide by 2. Why divide by 2? No, because what? Look, 25 is part of this angle over here. So I can't divide them equally by 2. You're not necessarily wrong. What you're saying is because we've taken care of 65 and 25, that this x over here on the left and that x over there on the right, x equals x, correct? So 2x equals 90 degrees. Or here, let me pause for a second and say that x plus x equals 90 degrees. 2x equals 90 degrees. X equals 45 degrees. Did you still get there? Yeah, but I'm worried that doing it that way, you might have lost the train. Okay? What I mean? Now, there is yet another way of looking at this, and this is how I would have done this. Okay? I would have said to myself that all angles add up to 180 degrees. So I would have said 65 plus x plus 25 plus x equals 180. I would have combined like terms. I would have gotten 25 and 65, which is what, 90? So I've gotten 90 plus 2x equals 180. I would have subtracted 90. I would have gotten 2x equals 90. I would have gotten x equals 45. Okay, but if you noticed, we all still got 45 degrees out of it, right? We came at it from a little bit different direction, okay? So I'm not saying that any of these ways is wrong. They all got there. We do have to remember that we have to plug x back in, okay? But make sure that you're doing it in such a way that you're not going to lose what it is that you're trying to do, okay? Or what it is that you have. Does that make sense to us? Okay. All right. Let's keep moving here. Are we ready for 6? Yeah, 6. And let me see real quick here how many questions there are on the test. Looks like 20. Okay. This one's interesting. I'll try to give it to you as close as I can to what it actually looks like. Okay. And I'm going to change a couple of measures. Okay, let's see. X, Y, Z, A, B. Okay. Okay. Find, measure, angle. Z, Y, A. Find, measure, angle Z, Y, A. So the first thing that I would do when looking at this is I would try to identify what angle I'm working with. Okay? Z, Y, A. I want to know what that guy is right there. Any thoughts? Where to start? So with some of these questions, you might have to zig before you can zag. You might have to find something else before you have enough information to find what it is that you're looking for. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? No. Okay. So what I'm saying is I might have to find that angle right there because what I notice is that all of that is going to be equal to what? 180 degrees. I can find that x value, right? Because do you see that it's part of a triangle? And how many degrees are in a triangle? 180. So I can find that. Once I find that, I can add it to 44. And once I've added it to 44, I could subtract that from 180 because there's 180 degrees in that line, correct? Okay, so let's look at that. So what am I going to do first? All right, 62 and 24 comes out to what, 86? Okay, so what am I going to do with 86? 180 minus 86, he says. I got to make that a 7, 10, 4, 17, what, 94? Okay, so we know that this is 94 degrees. Okay, what's next? Okay, 94 plus 44. Okay, there's 138 degrees. Fine. Okay, good. That's a 7 now. 10, there's a 2, there's a 4. 42 degrees. Okay, 42 degrees gets me ZYA. We could add it all up, 42 plus 44 plus 94, make sure that equals 180. But that should be my answer. Okay, so we're going to see something really, really similar to that. Okay, I just want you to understand the process of how I get there, right? I have to solve for the triangle before I can solve the line. Seven. I don't know. We'll try to get through this. Yeah, I think you'll be okay. Find the area of the rectangle. That's it. But you know what? There is a crazy number of people that will get this wrong or have gotten it wrong. Hopefully don't get it wrong. Area of a rectangle. How do you find the area of a rectangle? Length times width. What do you think people might do wrong here? They'll add them up, or they'll find a perimeter instead of the area. What's 8.2 times 17.4? What do you say? 142.16, 68. And they put feet on this, so we're going to put, yes, feet squared. And that might also be something that people do wrong, because there might be a 142.68 feet. And because it's area, we're getting feet squared. Okay? So by all means, don't miss the easy ones. All right, we'll stop right there.